I always wondered like Marvel Rivals. I know people have been talking about the lore and stuff like that on my timeline. I kind of want to get a full breakdown on it. And I searched up the lore. Ooh, Comic Explained as a video. I really like his content. We're gonna check this one out. This guy, if you don't know, Comic Explained does an amazing job of breaking down. The way I found this guy was actually when I was like heavily invested in the MCU, and they were like tying in a bunch of different comic books. I think it was the Infinity Run. And I watched it after I think Endgame or something like that, and he explained how they tied in a bunch of stuff, but they changed a bunch of different stuff too. He just does a really great job. He knows his stuff when it comes to comic books, so I can't recommend his channel enough. So I've never reacted to one of his videos before, but we talk about Marvel Rivals a lot on this channel because I fucking love it. I'm obsessed with it, and it really did spark a new love. I guess I caught the Marvel bug again. I literally just finished Age of Ultron before I started making these videos tonight. I finished Moon Knight the day before the series again. And what did I watch before that? There was another. Oh, it was the original Iron Man.
What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and Marvel Comics has released a Marvel Rivals digital-only series.
They did.
Now, the Infinity comics are shorter than your traditional comics, and you cannot buy them in a comic book store.
It's unfortunate.
This is a 6-issue series. It's one issue, or at least one release, every week for the next 5 weeks after the release of this one. And we will cover each of them. And so that's why this video is not as long as you would normally expect it to be on the channel. Now, what this does is this initially opens up with Galacta, the daughter of Galactus. Yes, she exists in Marvel Comics. Yes, it's weird. And yes, she's drawn totally differently than the way she looks in Marvel Rivals, for those of you guys who are interested in looking her up. She's not nearly as powerful as Galactus, and to say he's her father is kind of a loose association. She more just kind of like spawned from a kind of cosmic tapeworm of sorts within Galactus.
What?
And so she's not as powerful as he is, but she still is interesting in
That makes him like asexual, right? Like a frog?
her own right. She's more of a protector than a consumer.
It's been a while
now,
since I've
one
been
of the
school.
downsides to the Marvel Rivals comic is it doesn't really do much in giving you as much lore as you would like regarding Marvel Rivals itself.
Yeah.
Now, truth to tell, there really isn't a whole lot of lore, and there really won't be much expansion until we get to the release of the first huge event with Doctor Doom, and that's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for that. But the long and short of what's happening in Marvel Rivals is that all these different characters are essentially occupying the same space, but they all come from different realities. And the reason why is because Doctor Doom and his 2099 counterpart basically got into kind of a skirmish of sorts. And what they've done was effectively...
Wait, so it's just fucking Secret Wars, right?
Screwed up time. To the point where like all these timelines are converging, and these are the various superheroes that we get out of it. And so what it does is it picks up or kind of switches over to Spider-Zero and the Master Weaver. Now, explanation time, because I know that there are people out there who have heard of the Master Weaver.
I've never heard of Master Weaver until Marvel Rivals.
And don't know a whole lot about it, or know nothing about the Master Weaver
That
and
would
the
be
Web
me.
of Life and Destiny.
Yeah.
So Spider-Zero is a character that exists in Marvel Comics. The idea behind Spider-Zero is that she had come from a reality that had actually been destroyed during the incursions, the events that led into Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars 2015, and the whole incursion thing took place in Avengers and New Avengers. We do have that covered. It's the greatest comic book story ever written in the history of Marvel. But the Master Weaver and the Web of Life and Destiny is a little more complex than that. So while it did originate in the old Spider-Man video game, I think it was back in, what was it, Shattered Dimensions?
Bro, I didn't own this game, but I wanted it so fucking bad, because I think this is like one of the first times they had a game that definitely advertised like different types of like the same character. This is a whole new concept to me growing up, and it just looked insane, man.
Or something like that, that it really achieved
my buddy had it. I played it a little bit
of significance during the Spider-Verse crossover event.
Yeah.
So for the most part, when it comes to the multiverse in Marvel Comics, there's a whole bunch of ways in which it's represented. And these representations come in the form of like the Omniversal Development Corp, whose job is to make sure that every universe has Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four, that they all come into existence around the same time. If it doesn't happen in a universe, they initiate what's called the push, which basically jumpstarts the evolution of superheroes.
Oh,
That's where you
shit.
got the character Jim Jaspers, where they did that after Jaspers killed everybody and almost destroyed the multiverse, but that's neither here nor there. You also have things like the M'Kraan crystal, which is best represented as a hallway of doors, each door leading into the multiverse. And that hallway would be considered the white hot room, where the Phoenix Force resides in Marvel Comics.
Oh,
But then
what?
you also have the Web of Life and Destiny. Now, the Web of Life and
Okay.
Destiny is, again, a representation of the multiverse, but it only really deals directly with spider people. Any and every
Did they mention this in the last Spider-Verse movie? Because they did tie into like the multiverse a lot in that movie, hence the fucking name, right? But I feel like they should have mentioned this at least once, because like the name, it's familiar, but I just can't associate it to anything.
everybody can be affected by it.
Bro, Captain America, Spider-Man would be crazy.
It's simply just spider people are kind of what it pertains to. It was originally created by a character named Neith, who was what was called the first spider totem. And what that means in Marvel Comics is that where traditionally you and I and everybody else saw Spider-Man as just a kid bitten by a radioactive spider and
Exactly.
gained the proportional strength of a spider, wall crawling, spider sense, and
With occasional, spider, dinosaur,
this goes on and on and on.
T-Rex.
That during the runs of J. Michael Straczynski
Yeah, it's right there.
and Dan Slott, what we learned is that
Oh,
when Peter
man.
was bitten by a radioactive spider, it kind of tied him into the mystical nature of spider totems. And what that means is that with the Web of
Totems.
Life and Destiny, everybody who is bitten by a spider was destined to be bitten by one more often than not. And so what that means is that by being tied into the Web of Life and Destiny, in the same way that Yoda told Luke Skywalker, the force is all around us and binds us, the Web of Life and Destiny is the same way. So you could cut off a singular spider from the Web of Life and Destiny, and they're literally removed from being able to access the other universes of Spider-Man, potentially even using their powers. But on a bigger level than that, across the entire multiverse, you have very select groups of individuals that serve a particular purpose. Now, the purpose they serve is relative to whoever it is that's writing the story. So Marvel plays it very fast and loose. But for example, Cindy Moon, right? Those of you guys remember her as a post-credit scene from Spider-Man 2. She's the bride. Right? She is a person who was bitten by a radioactive spider after Spider-Man, and in fact, the same spider that bit him bit her. The character of Kane is what's called the Other. He literally turns into a giant spider. There's a character named Benji, who I think was the Scion, and the list goes on. But there's only one bride, one Scion, one pattern maker, and one master weaver among the other roles in the entirety of the multiverse. That's why Spider-Verse was such a big event, because the Inheritors were running through the multiverse, killing every version of Spider-Man they could find, and Spider-Woman even, trying to find these individual totems and then destroying them, which would effectively lead to the complete dissolution of the Web of Life and Destiny. So I told you that it's really got some meat and potatoes to it. And there's a little more
It's actually
to
very
the Web of
interesting.
Life and Destiny than that. But the idea behind this is that with everything going on in the timeline and the significance of the Master Weaver, in the sense that if he dies, that the Web of Life and Destiny
Hey, yo, why the fuck they eating spiders in this frame? That's crazy. Not true. My kind can feast off any animal, totem, any animal, really. And unfortunately for them, the bunker you left for them on Earth 3145 was teeming with one form of life. Oh my god. What the hell?
could potentially fall apart. There's no one to maintain it and to ensure that all the spider people are held together through the Web of Life and Destiny being organized, structured, and held together, that the idea of Spider Zero is to say, we simply need to like turn you into a digital construct and put you in the digital space. Because if something were to happen here and you were killed, that would be the end of it. But if we digitize you, well, then you can never truly be destroyed, right? You can always come back in some form or fashion.
What is it, the Didact from fucking Halo 5?
And so as a result of that, it kind of picks up with the existing mythos where you have like Venom and Spider-Man teaming up and talking about the nature of infinite timelines, right? That's why you kind of have them going back and forth, and Venom saying things like, I have not missed your jokes. And Spider-Man asks things like, has your universe of Spider-Man moved on from comedy to more dramatic roles? Because
You know what's crazy? I literally forgot. I don't know why, but I forgot we were reacting to a video about Marvel Rivals. This is so deep with Spider-Man. Holy fuck.
Because my agent's been bugging me to do the same thing. And Venom says, my Spider-Man is dead. Do you want to see how I killed him? Now, again, as far as we're aware, and I could be wrong here, we don't really know the ins and outs of the individual universes that these characters come from. I could be wrong, so I'm not going to swear by that.
Okay.
And if I am, like, make sure I know down in the comment section. I mean, you will. You guys love pointing out when I'm wrong. But like,
I'm excited to see those comments. And also, if you're watching this video and you know, comment down below on me too.
let me know really down in the comment section. Of course, that moves on to the fight between Wolverine and Thor. As you guys will notice here, that Thor is smiting Wolverine. The reason why is because in my experience, every time Thor tries to smite Punisher, he just gets sprayed down to the ground because Thor's a noob. And then, of course, like Wolverine is, you know, holding his own as best he can. But again, you kind of have this back and forth, right? Where it just sort of picks up with what you've experienced in the game and what you would expect to see in the comic. And so that's why Spider-Man is saying things like, Venom, like, tell me what the whole story is behind me dying and all that kind of stuff in your particular reality. But there are some cool little moments that do offer, or at least beg, some measure of explanation. For example, Captain America telling Namor the Submariner, we fought together in World War II. We could be allies again. Now, that did happen in Marvel Comics. It was actually a group called the Invaders. And in fact, during Ed Brubaker's run on Captain America, when he brought Bucky Barnes back in the whole Winter Soldier story arc, there was actually a big change to that mythos. Instead of Bucky Barnes being a kid who just stumbled into the tent of Captain America and discovered Steve Rogers was turning into Captain America and begged him to join him on his adventures, otherwise Bucky would tell people Captain America's true identity, that it actually turned out Bucky was a highly trained assassin. He was a child soldier. Captain America didn't agree with it, but ultimately Captain America went along with it because his moral code is relative to whatever he wants his goal to be at the time. Now, of course, Namor was a part of the Invaders as well, kind of a callback to the old Captain America, Namor the Submariner.
Damn, this is some OG shit right here.
And even Human Torch Jim Hammond comics during World War II. Kind of a fun fact, Namor and Jim Hammond predated Captain America in Marvel.
Bro, what the are you kidding me? Like, Captain Marvel's one thing, but bro, what?
Now, of course, that also goes into Luna Snow, who makes an appearance here, where she kind of banters a little bit with Venom and Bruce Banner and Spider-Man. Now, Luna Snow is wholly new to Marvel Rivals. She does not exist in Marvel Comics. So those of you guys who have been asking for like a...
Bro, that makes so much sense. I was like, who the fuck is this? Like, she's actually the one character it's hard for me to remember her name, which is, it's wild. It's Luna Snow. It's so easy to remember. I don't know why I can't ever remember it. Bro, I've never heard of her ever before, that's why.
Luna Snow comic book origin, like Jeff the Land Shark or something like that, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, Jeff the Land Shark and Squirrel Girl are real comic book characters. But Luna Snow, the one that actually makes sense, actually it makes way more sense now because of, you know, the K-pop thing. It's literally a, wow, what a genius move by NetEase. That is actually smart as fuck.
Not to my knowledge. Now, it could be that Luna is heavily based on another character from Marvel, but I'm not aware that she is, right? As far as I know, she's wholly new for the entire franchise. Then, of course, this picks up with Iron Fist going toe-to-toe with Doctor Strange. Now, this is where we get our first indication of the comic book.
And Marvel Rivals, that motherfucker Iron Fist deletes fucking Doctor Strange. Deletes him, bro.
Is not really entirely
accurate
relative to the game, because you and I both know that all you would need is Iron Fist here, because Iron Fist is ridiculously overpowered and the developers don't have enough common sense to nerf him.
That is not true. If you know how to play him, you know how to play against him. It's very simple. Now, when you're fucking Iron Man and you're just deleting people in the sky, and then out of nowhere you're just getting hurt, and you look down and you have this motherfucking Goku character punching the life out of you, it is a little fucking intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. But Iron Fist, I heard, was like the fucking most OP player like the first day. So guess what character I tried first to play? Of course. Now, if I would have known that Spider-Man would be the most annoying player to play, character to play, I probably would have picked Spider-Man. But unfortunately, I have a skill gap with that character, and it's really hard to fucking learn. Like, there's fucking so many YouTube videos you have to watch to fucking truly understand Spider-Man and how to play him and be fucking amazing at them. Plus, you have to put the hours, at least like 8 to 10 hours to be pretty good with the character.
And so, of course, he tells Dr. Strange
Like
to focus
the skill
his
gap
chi
characters,
that kind
for
of
sure.
a thing. But again, it's just kind of a battle royale, right? It's all these characters facing off against each other.
Yeah, it's like Secret
now,
Wars.
One person you're not going to see
Kind
here
of.
is you're not going to see Punisher,
Battle
and you're not
World-ish.
going to see Rocket, along with a few others. Cloak and Dagger, you won't really see them either. In fact, again,
Okay.
this is the first issue. It's just kind of giving us a little bit of information regarding the nature of the Marvel Rivals comic and how all this kind of ties into it. Now,
Yeah.
of course, that switches over to Penny Parker. Now, Penny Parker is a really cool character in the Spider-Man mythos. And in fact, she debuted in Edge of Spider-Verse #5. And Edge of Spider-Verse was actually a limited comic book series that gave you all these origin stories for these different versions of Spider-Man across the multiverse. It wasn't all of them, but it was a good chunk of them. The most interesting was.
I'll have to check
Some
that
of those
out.
Spider-Men went on to become part of Spider-Verse. Some of them actually died or were consumed by the Inheritors
Oh, that's
within the Edge of Spider-Verse story, and they were never seen or heard from again. Penny Parker came from a reality where her father, whose identity is never revealed, ended up piloting what was called the Spider Suit. Now, from my perspective, the Spider Suit functioned more like the Jaegers from Pacific Rim, where instead of quote-unquote drifting with another person, that Penny would drift with the spider. But as I understand it, because the whole reality of Penny Parker is based more on anime and manga, a lot of fans that I've talked to have drawn these parallels between like Neon Genesis and Spider-Man to kind of bridge the gap and understanding how Penny Parker's suit and everything works. Your mileage may vary on which one you choose to pick, but the long and short of it is that when Penny Parker became the pilot of the spider suit, she was bitten by the radioactive spider that was the other half of the suit. So it's really more like two minds.
That would be fucking cool. That canon is fucking sick. Oh my god.
That control this whole thing. But again, in Penny Parker's reality, we don't know that
That's so much cool. Like all I think of is fucking Penny Parker. Bro, I just think of it's Spidey time. Oh my god, I can't stand that. And especially when you're squishy and she just starts darting right at you. It's like, no, please, no. She's a great defensive, probably one of the best defensive players in the game, honestly. That's not shield based.
Father's name is Peter Parker. And again, I'm fairly certain that Marvel has never actually divulged the name of her father. And so that's why when she's talking to Peter and she asks, like, do you have a daughter named Penny in your timeline? He's like, no, not really. And she's like, okay, I'm just checking. And she says, and by the way, this Venom is lost in the time stream with no memory of his previous life. So he was totally lying about that killing Spider-Man thing. And where Peter's kind of like, okay, well, I mean, that's comforting, but like, aren't we supposed to be fighting each other? Penny's like, yes, we're totally supposed to be fighting each other. And like, they go back into a fight with each other, which I absolutely love. Now this goes into like a Captain America Thor team up, because when Thor's fighting Wolverine, Captain America throws his shield down there and Thor's lightning goes from Captain America's shield, which seemingly amplifies the power of Thor's lightning, which basically electrocutes Wolverine.
Yeah, it's just like the MCU. Those were the most iconic scenes. Like I just finished Age of Ultron, and the scene where there's like Thor and Captain America are like invading the Hydra base or whatever it is. In the very beginning, and they're like, oh, it looks like they're lining up, and it's like, yeah, they're just excited, and then they fucking hit the light or the hammer on the fucking shield, and it just destroys all of them in a line. It's like they're just attacking them like old British soldiers back in the day, and then it rips through the tank as well. It's so good. Going back and watching the old MCU movies, it's so fucking awesome.
Of course, Wolverine having his healing factor, which varying degrees of how fast he can heal in Marvel Comics, he'll come back pretty quickly. But that's where the comic starts to borrow elements from the game. Because Penny's like, okay, if Captain America and Thor can share power, then can anybody else share power? And that goes into the symbiote maneuver between Spider-Man, Penny Parker, any of the Spider characters, and Venom, right? Where she literally gets the ability to create a wall of symbiote spikes. And anybody who touches them ends up getting 50 points of damage received upon their visage. That was an unnecessary way of saying, like, you lose 50 points of life.
Yeah.
Now again, of course, Penny Parker going on a rampage with her huge power-up ends up blowing up this building in Tokyo 2099. And Spider-Man and his entire team are trapped under there. Now the cool thing about this is that what it's gonna do is it's gonna give us this—
Wait, isn't there a voice line in the game where they talk about like between Luna Snow and Penny Parker about like their different Japans? And one being like having a blown up building in the middle of it. There's some kind of voice, like I can't remember exactly what it is.
Quick idea.
It's cool. I want to like I need to buy the fucking issue, or I guess it's not buying it. It's just reading it online. Or maybe it's to buy it too. I don't know, but I would still do that. But dude, like the voiceovers, you just like they're so good already. But having more context for them would be even better.
Of who's on which teams. And where Penny's initial idea is like, well, I mean, we should save them, we should help them and rescue them. The response of Banner is, no, we shouldn't either, right? Like fixing the timeline is really the most important thing. If we really want to help them, we'll get the timeline back to the way that it's supposed to be. Everybody will return home, and that'll be that. And so Penny's just kind of like, you know what, you're right? Like Spider-Zero put me in charge. That's a great idea. We're going to do that. And she has this hilarious line where she was like, okay, here's the new plan, team. We are not going to help them. You'll be okay, Spider-Man. I know you will. We'll fix the timeline, and then everybody will be okay. And in kind of like this almost sort of campy but like amazing moment, Spider-Man's hand just like emerges from the rubble like he's Jason coming out of Crystal Lake. And that's where the comic ends. But again, it's a cute, fun little comic. The Infinity comics always were, right? They weren't like great, big, huge, grandiose things. But with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this to an end. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Do you want me to cover the one for next week when it comes out? And I will catch you all later.
This came out a month ago. I wonder if he did. I'll check it out on my own time, but I do want to check out the comics themselves. I didn't even realize they had a whole comic book until now. That's fucking dope. I'm sure there's what, like 4 issues out by now. But if it's six issues in general, that'd be really fast. So yeah, I'm gonna get on that. Let's get the comics though, or the comments. Luna Snow made her first appearance in Marvel Future Fight mobile game and War of Realms. New Agents of Aladdis #1 comic. She also has a one-shot comic and has popped up in a few other comics prior to Marvel Rivals. Okay, so she's not specifically new, but let's look at the comments on this. I know her from the Tiger Division comics by Marvel. What he said. This version of Iron Fist might be from a mobile game too. Ooh, interesting. Well, Nettie's is it's on brand, right? They get a bunch of mobile games. Doctor Doom going to war with himself is the most Doctor Doom thing ever, and I love it. Yeah, that's Doctor Doom for you. Some of the best Doctor Doom comics are him going against like Tony Stark and him switching bodies and them going to get head to head is fucking awesome. When Doctor Doom, you know, obviously with Battle World and Secret Wars and yeah, it's one of the best villains in the comics, honestly. Each character in the game has a big synopsis on what's going on in the story. Definitely recommend you do a video on it. Doom, did you break reality again? Doom, you dare question Doom? Oh man, I fucking love this game, man. What a great idea. Oh man, what a time to be alive, to enjoy Marvel in an amazing hero shooter. I can't recommend Comic Explains enough. Go give him a sub. Amazing video, amazing breakdown. I love his voice. I love the way he fucking breaks everything down, dude. And the graphics, showing some of the images. I'm new to YouTube, so like if I would read the comic books and try to replicate the same thing, it wouldn't be as good. I just don't know where the line is for, you know, transformative, you know, fair use and stuff like that. I just know how to do reactions. So kudos to this man. I really do appreciate the videos he makes. I've watched countless hours on his channel. But yeah, definitely hit that sub button, man. Let's get to 1K. Hit that comment button too. Keep the conversation flowing. Let me know what you're thinking with this whole comic book. You think it's just, you know, something they had to do because obviously it's the game? Do you think it's gonna bring levels of entertainment that are, you know, on par with normal comics, or is this just, you know, a little tease taste? You know, I don't know. Is it too small for what you like? Let me know, and other stuff too. Just let me know what you're thinking. And definitely hit that like button to help me push out to more people. It's just simple as a click. Same with the sub button. But yeah, man. Sorry, content wasn't really being pushed out the last back half of the week. My tripod kind of broke, and I have a lot of videos that I'm posting on Monday, which should be today. If you're watching later on, it is what it is. I try to post as much as I can throughout the whole week. And the weekends, Not typically. I try to stream those days too, so I usually link my stream or my Twitch account in the comment section below. You can go follow that if you want. I don't do streams often. I don't. But I do sometimes. But yeah, guys, my name's Trey Swish. Thank you for watching the Ether, and I will see you guys in the next one, man. Deuces.